Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, then my name is Erica, and today I am going to be talking about something that I've talked about on my community tab, and like it seems like it's something that you all my audience would be interested in, so I hope that's the case, but if not, then sorry. But today I am going to be talking about how there are people who dedicate their entire channels, and also people on like Reddit, and just people in general that are they want to out people that they perceive to be faking illness or disability. Now, this is a very nuanced issue, in my opinion, because while I do believe there is a such thing as Munchausen's by internet, which is basically when people will fake symptoms of something on the internet, usually in order to gain sympathy and also to get money from people. But also, I don't think it's ethical to be trying to out people, because you don't know if somebody is faking it, and the odds are that someone is not faking it, because I feel like it's much more common for people to not be faking an illness or a disability, but then to unfortunately be accused of it. And many of you on my community tab talked about how you who have different disabilities and different health conditions that may have ebbs and flows of symptoms and effects. So one day you might feel very good, and the next day you might not. And I think that's very important for these people to remember when they're trying to out people for faking something, because it's like you don't know, especially if you don't know somebody personally. It's like, how could you possibly know from what they're posting online whether they're making his up or not? And I mean, of course, you might have a different opinion, and you can comment that down below, but again, please be respectful, especially because this is a topic that does affect a lot of people. And I think one of the examples I've seen of this recently is a lady who is on TikTok, and I believe her handle is called Chronically Raw, and a lot of people believe she's faking all of her illnesses, and I don't know if she is. And honestly, I'm like, what is the end goal of proving that she's faking it? Like, I'm not gonna benefit from outing somebody. I don't know. I guess I just don't see the point to people obsessing over whether somebody's faking an illness or disability, unless they're actively harming other people. I don't see a point to it, because ultimately it's like, if I don't want to donate to somebody's GoFundMe, then I'm not going to do it. But I mean, if other people want to do that, and if that's something they're able to do, that's their business. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally off base here. I don't know, but I will add some clips, because there's there's this YouTube channel that I have mixed feelings about. Honestly, I think she goes by Kia's World, and
I have no medical background. I'm not a medical professional. I don't know Lindsay personally. This is just my opinion and for entertainment purposes.
I keep on playing the drums in my chest, and I get a little bit short of breath, or more short of breath than I already am.
Freudian slip. Seems like she was saying that she gets out of breath, well, more out of breath than I usually am.
We think
and a lot of her channel is just commentary, like me, like she's done videos on Rachel Hollis and like on like big like self-help gurus that do harmful things. But I've also seen a lot of videos of her about trying to speculate on whether somebody is faking a disability or illness or not, and that rubbed me the wrong way. So that is why I have not yet hit subscribe on her channel, because I'm like, I don't know if I can put enough of my faith isn't exactly the word I'm going for, but that's the word that keeps coming into my head. I don't want to put like my endorsement into somebody that I cannot really stand behind and be like, yeah, this is good. And I mean, of course, there are people I subscribe to that I don't agree with everything they do. But when it comes to something like that, I think that for me, that crosses an ethical line. Because I'm like, maybe this lady is faking it chronically rah-rah. I mean, I don't know because I don't know her. But I feel like ultimately it's just gonna hurt other people, because then people watching that video in their real life, they're going to use like what she used to investigate. And I don't even know if you could say investigate about it, because there's like, what are you gonna do? Read their medical records? But anyway, I feel like people are going to use those same tactics and those same lines of reasonings to dismiss other people. And that's where I find the issue. Because I just like spit a little. Because like a lot of people are not faking it, and a lot of people are being accused of faking things when they're not. And also, this goes back to like historically, women of color, disabled women, like historically those groups have been dismissed by doctors as just being hysterical and just faking their symptoms. And I do believe to a certain extent that in like these internet investigators investigating somebody else who is claiming to have a certain condition or a disability, I think to a certain extent that does factor in, because I've noticed that a lot of the people being accused of this are women. Like chronically rah-rah, and there was also this other lady who I think it was proven that she was making this stuff up. But like I said, like that's one person out of how many people that have the same issue and are not faking it. It's like whenever somebody comes forward that they've been as aid, and then there are always people like, yeah, well, people fake that all the time. They cry R word, but it's like, here's the thing, like, to me, the number of people making that up is so small compared to the people experiencing it and who are just trying to, like, tell the truth and get assistance or support or whatever they may be. And I don't think you should risk dismissing people that are actually going through something because you think maybe some people out there might be faking it, because odds are they're not faking it. And I mean, of course, there are examples of people who have lied about this type of thing. Like the first very well-known case of Munchausen's by internet, which I don't even know if that's a real diagnosis. I think it's more of a social phenomenon, because with like regular factitious disorder, it's like they're not doing it to gain something. It's a psychological disorder. But in the case of Munchausen's by internet, a lot of times it's to get sympathy and money and stuff like that. So it's very different from actual fictitious disorder that plays out in real life. But one of the first well-known cases of Munchausen's by internet was a young woman who went by the name of Kaycee Nicole. And actually, the story, I find it extremely interesting because it's a very elaborate story, and I just personally, I can't fathom why somebody would do this. But she was on this, like, college forum for people who were trying to go to college, and she claimed that she had leukemia, and then she's started a blog called Living in Colors, which gained a lot of followers, and honestly, a lot of the blog was just inspiration. PORN. I don't know if I can say that word on YouTube, so I'm just gonna spell it out just in case so I don't get demonetized. But a lot of it was like very inspirational and just not great. But anyway, that's not the point of this. But and then, as I was saying, but before my dog started barking, it's the first day of school, so there are like kids in my neighborhood walking home from the bus stop. But anyway, so my dog was barking. But as I was saying, so Kaycee Nicole, she had leukemia, and then like she was supposed to meet up with one of her internet friends, but right when she was supposed to meet up, her mom contacted him and said Kaycee died. And then people started piecing together some inconsistencies in the story, and just the voice of her blog, it was a lot like, it sounded like somebody who was older than somebody who was like in their teens. So they ended up discovering that Kaycee Nicole actually never existed. And this woman, I think her name was Debbie, she had a picture of another woman who is real, and she used that as Kaycee's picture. So Kaycee never existed. And I mean, still to this day, nobody really knows for a fact why she did this and why she would pretend for that who happened, because I'm like, why would you fake that whole story? But anyway, so that's just to show that there are people out there that unfortunately will do that type of a thing and like fake that type of a thing. But it's not, again, it's not common. And ultimately, it's pretty hard for somebody, if you don't even know somebody, it's pretty hard to know if they're making something like that up, because you're not even around them. You only see what they post online. And another example of somebody who is kind of an example of Munchausen's by internet is a woman called Belle Gibbs. And no, I think it's Belle Gibson. My brain is like, wait, let me just look it up, just so I'm not getting it wrong real quick. Okay, so she's a woman named Belle Gibson, and I'll link my sources down below, because I had to look this up, because like it's something I researched like earlier. I think I researched it last year actually, so it's been quite some time, so I needed a bit of a refresher, so I will link my sources down below. But she was a woman who claimed she had cancer, and she wrote this book and like developed an app called the Whole Pantry, which would help people eat like whole foods, which that whole thing is just, to me, it's a load of BS. But anyway, regardless. And she claimed that she used, like, through her diet, she, like, cured herself of cancer. And so she was basically selling snake oil. And unfortunately, some people were desperate. And there were people that died because they took Belle Gibson's advice and they tried to do that rather than going to actual medical professionals and getting treatment that way. So like these stories do have real impact on real people, and I think that's where it gets hard, because I do understand why people would wanna try to weed those people out, but it's also like, I don't know, like if somebody's not faking it and you help them as faking it, like that, I don't know. It's just, I feel like as people we shouldn't be trying to constantly out other people. Where is my dog? Huh. She's outside. It's okay, I think, hopefully. But I think like we as people, we don't have access to all of this knowledge. We don't have their people's medical records. We don't see people face to face all the time. So I think we run the risk of harming a bigger group of people by trying to weed out who we suspect to be faking. Whereas if we didn't do that, like, yeah, there would be people like Belle Gibson and like Kaycee, Nicole, even though there is no Kaycee Nicole, but I'm just gonna use that name. But even though there are people like that are going to slip through the cracks. Because I feel like if somebody's gonna do something like that, they're going to do it. So how, like, I don't know, how are you going to stop somebody from doing that? And is it worth the harm you caused other people by trying to prove that somebody's faking something? And like, I think it's very interesting, but also I think it's something you really need to tread lightly, because you don't want to out somebody who's just genuinely has some condition or disability, but since to you they don't like fit the criteria that you expect. Sorry, my dog's just behind me eating a treat, so I'm laughing at him. But like, just because somebody doesn't meet the criteria of what you expect their symptoms to be, or like the effect of their disability to be, what's going on? Doesn't mean that they're not actually going through that. So I think that's very important to remember, and I hope that we can all keep that in mind. And I think that is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. My dog just spit her treat out on the floor. My dogs are odd. Okay, but thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it interesting, or if you learned something, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you have not already and you would like to see more of my content, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye.